Hey everybody, I am at Gatwick Airport. Heathrow wasn't so good today, couldn't find the best place to I took the car, so just wouldn't work it out for me, so I thought I decided to go to Gatwick for a change. The Aviation Museum opens in about 20 minutes, so I found this spot here. I thought I'd park here because I saw a plane landing really close by. Get a bit of time. I'll show you in a second how good it is. There we go, look at that everybody. My signal's not very good, so unfortunately my flight radar's not working, so I couldn't tell you what this is, but here it is anyway. Look at this. Shame you can't see them quite so well with the hedge in the way, but it's good enough. I'm sure if an A380 come over, it'll be fantastic. But I'll be interested to see what the Aviation Museum has to offer, see what it's like there. Apparently it's really good. Alright, British Airways, let's see what we got. I think that's too big to be an A320, I don't know. Well, I've got one more in the distance there. I think I'm going to make my way to the Aviation Museum. Yeah, the really good thing about this spot compared to the Heathrow Chatham Cross station areas, you haven't got the large amounts of airport vehicles, buses, general vans, trucks lorries driving past. You're almost guaranteed to get a good shot every time. But obviously it's not quite as often they're flying over, but you know you're going to get a good. And there it is. Said plane that was in the distance. The last one before we move on. Yeah, definitely seeing some different ones, different livery and stuff, different planes I would do at Heathrow normally. I see one more in the distance, so I'll get one more, then next thing you'll see is the museum. Turkish Airlines. Here we are, Gatwick Aviation Museum. Alright, I'm going to make my way to the viewing area. Got all sorts of things on the way. Alright. What plane's that then up there?
Sorry?
What plane's that then?
Well, this one?
Yeah.
This is a Shackleton.
Oh, Shackleton, alright. Is that like one of the World War planes then?
Yeah, well, it's after the Second World War, yeah. It was an air sea rescue maritime reconnaissance aircraft.
Oh, okay. Ah, yeah.
That's the one you can book a tour on.
Yeah.
It costs a bit extra, but you go inside and have a look and
That's fine. I will come back and do that another time because
we're
limited time today, unfortunately. But I will come back and do that. Yeah, as I said, I will come back and do a longer video on this, so I've only got a couple of hours here. So it'll be on another video where apparently you can have a tour, you can walk up on there, have a look around the plane. So it'll be a good thing to do. Yeah, unfortunately this is what you get. To be honest, you get a better view at Stansted, to be honest. Yeah, that's what it is. It's better where I was parked before, but I don't know what I'm going to do with this. Got an Air France coming around. Trouble is, we could film them taking off, but it wouldn't see them taking off, if you know what I mean. There's not enough space. Comes out of view. Yeah, sorry guys. That was the Air France. You just can't see any of them take off. Well, you sort of see them land a little bit as well, but not properly, not like you can where I was before I come to the museum, and if you get the spot right in Heathrow, near Hatton Cross Station. But I'm not sure if I come there again. I come to that spot at the beginning of the video, yeah, certainly, but I might come back to the museum to do that tour around. Yeah, but the viewing area, I don't know. Maybe if they were taken off the other way, you know, heavy aircraft, A380, A350, if it needed a lot of space, maybe you might get some then, but who knows.
Weight. It wouldn't be able to because the bomb doors close too tightly, but you could theoretically carry a 10-ton bomb the way the Lancaster used to.
10-ton bomb?
Yeah.
And it was just one bomb? Yeah. Cool. Do a lot of damage.
The Grand Slam bomb was an absolute monster. Okay, before we go in, just a couple of quick notices.
Yeah.
First thing is, please don't touch any switches or buttons.
Okay.
Aircraft is live, it actually has working engines, and the engineers need everything to be left as it is.
Yeah, no problem.
Second thing is, be very careful wandering around the aircraft. You'll see inside how difficult it is to get around. It's full of sharp objects. You can bark your shins or your elbows or your face on almost anything, so do be careful.
Alright, I'll be careful.
And one last little thing before we go in, just have a look at that scoop down there below the window.
Oh.
Things covered in scoops, mostly they face forward to suck air in.
Yeah.
That one's not facing forward. Just imagine what that might be for.
Yeah.
Then, around in here, upright, you could never hope to do that in a Lancaster because it was so tight. But it does mean that the spars stick up out of the floor, so if you've got any trouble at all with clambering over these things,
yeah, I'll be alright.
Probably easy to sit on them and just swing your legs over.
Yeah, I'll go over.
Attached to the radar, and it's World War II technology. It's designed to look at the sea and can see things on the sea, but it can also see the sea. So the return you'll get off that is just a load of green dots on the screen, and in the middle of them will be a slightly more brighter, prominent green dot, which is your target. There to fly the aircraft to. And on this one, we happen to have there's St Morgan.
Oh yeah.
And Newquay is just there.
Oh yeah.
So if you've ever been on the boozer in Newquay, there it is. And that's classic navigation with a chart, and you just point the aircraft the right way and go. And there's loads of nav aids on this thing. One of them is a Doppler radar that will tell you how fast you're going across the surface of the sea. There's a compass, which I think is down there. There's the master compass.
Oh, yeah.
If that doesn't work, there's other things. There's radio nav aids. These two things here. The one at the bottom was developed during the war. It was used on Mosquitoes and Lancasters. It's a system called G.
Yeah.
And the way that works is essentially there's a load of transmitting stations giving out radio pulses on the British coast, and the time difference between two radio pulses gives you your position very roughly.
Okay.
This is a different version. This is called Loran. That was developed a couple of years later by the Americans. The main difference is that's got a range of a few hundred miles. That's got a range of about 1,500 to 2,000 miles, but it works basically the same way. That only works well in good weather because it uses the ionosphere as a reflecting surface. That's quite high up in the atmosphere. And
yeah, well, really complicated controls, the whole thing. Yeah.
so we are now on the flight deck.
Yeah.
2 flight crew, completely duplicated controls. So if I pull this one back, you'll see the other one moves as well.
Yeah.
And they often needed that because to do sharp manoeuvres sometimes took the strength of 2 people. One person on his own couldn't move the aircraft quickly enough, so quite often you'd get both pilots pulling and turning. This is the co-pilot, this is the lead pilot, and this spare wheel here is for controlling the nose wheel steering.
Oh, so it's left-hand drive effectively then?
Yeah, well, most fixed-wing aircraft are.
Right, this is a hangar with all sorts of old planes. What have we got here? We've got a Bristol. A Bristol. It's just a quick walk through. I've only got 10 minutes. I've got to go. Nice collection of model planes. you get the de Havilland at London City Airport, obviously not the same. Often see Aurigney Airlines, which comes in from Guernsey. That'll have to be for another time. Alright everyone, that's the end of the video. Yeah, the plane spotting wasn't that great, the viewing area wasn't that great, so I thought I'd had enough time to do the tour anyway, of that one plane. And a quick little walk through those old World War II aircrafts. Didn't know much about them, so that's why I was just mainly just walking, not speaking. Alright, hopefully you like what you see. Please like and subscribe. Yeah, thanks again for watching.